I finally got to see one of the movies I was most excited for in 2014 this evening. And I decided, why not come here and give you guys a review of it. I saw Interstellar about a month ago. That was my other really big movie I was really excited for. And I didn't think to do a review. Primarily because I felt that that movie was such a mammoth movie. And either a love or hate kind of thing. So I didn't want to touch it. But, and for the record, I did love Interstellar. But I just went to go see Big Hero 6. I convinced my grandparents to come with me because I thought they'd like it. And decided to come home and shoot a little review. Got a whole bunch of my drink left from the movie, so you can enjoy that. Some liquid refreshment, as it were. Tip for all you moviegoers out there who go to the Regal. Go for it. Get the combo of the large drink and the big tub of popcorn. You know, enjoy it during the movie, then take it home. You know, don't get your refill there. Take it home, and then bring it back for round 2. You know what? They'll refill your drink. They don't mark your drink. You could refill this an infinite amount of times. As for the popcorn, get a refill on that. If they don't mark it, that's another refill you're going to get. And you just keep doing that until they mark it, and then you just buy a new one. That's easily, that's 2 shows for the price of 1 when it comes to the snacks. So, and you know, at least 2 shows, if not more. I've had this drink since 2 years ago. You know, I've not paid for a drink since. Shh. You know, you get away with it. I paid for it once, and, you know, it's not really illegal. They refill it for me. I paid to get the refills, so it's just a little trick for you guys. But anyways, what the deal is, Big Hero 6. It's, you know, Disney Pixar's big movie this year. And I'm going to make a statement that may cause widespread panic and frustration and anger throughout my entire viewing audience, depending on your age, gender, and disposition. Here goes. Big Hero 6 made Frozen its bitch. Right? I saw Frozen last year, and I enjoyed it. I don't think it was worth all the massive explosion of hype that it got, but did I think it was a good movie? Well, certainly. I thought it was entertaining, it was cute, it had some interesting values to it, kind of. But overall, it was thrilling and enjoyable, and just fun, you know? It was one of those rare examples of a musical where I liked the songs. You know, that is, before everyone else started singing them and I wanted to shoot myself. I liked Frozen quite a bit. But of course, once the fan base became so cancerous and you couldn't go anywhere without hearing Let It Go, it became much like My Little Pony. And, you know, for the people who liked the show, the bronies, you know, okay, they could like the show and that was fine, but a majority of the fans became so cancerous that it resulted in the entire internet hating bronies with, of course, complete and utter reason behind it, because the fans were ponies 24/7 and you wanted to shoot them. I was on the border, I liked the show, but beyond that there wasn't much. Looking back, even then I was ashamed of the fandom, and I still am. The fact that there's still people out there who give a shit just bothers me. But that's aside, it doesn't matter anymore. I'm relating that to something else. Frozen, the fandom just went the same way. Not as bad as ponies, but still, you know, you can't go too long without hearing someone burst out into singing, "Do you want to build a snowman?" or "Let It Go" or some shit. So, Big Hero 6 was Disney's big effort for the year. You know, and it was, in my opinion, excellent. Fantastic. I think it shows that when it premiered several weeks ago, on the same day as Interstellar, yeah, of course, we all know Christopher Nolan. Who doesn't know Christopher Nolan in this day and age? Inception, Memento, The Dark Knight, Fight Club. You know, he's a big name. Chris Nolan didn't do Fight Club. That was Darren Aronofsky, wasn't it? Fuck. Anyways, I just made an ass of myself. I was thinking of my other favorite directors. Darren Aronofsky, he did like Fight Club and Requiem for a Dream and Pi. Did he do Fight Club? Great, now I can't remember. Whatever. Yeah, he did. Fuck me. Whatever. Christopher Nolan, you know what he did. He makes interesting movies. Christopher Nolan's a big name. Big Hero 6 managed to outsell Interstellar on the day it premiered, and continued to. Now, I thought both movies were excellent, but I think it shows when a movie that is, you know, a less high-profile thing than a Chris Nolan film manages to outsell it. Now, people could say it's because Nolan hyped the shit out of it and it didn't deliver. I enjoyed it, but that's aside. Whatever the reason, I think it's showing that Big Hero 6 managed to outsell Interstellar. And I know I'm seeing it like a month after premiere, but still, there's something to be said for how enjoyable it was. The first thing that I feel that must be discussed is the visuals. You know, Pixar and Disney, they are really, really refining and honing their craft. This movie was, above all, you know, usually when I see the CG films, I'm like, okay, it's just more CG shit. You know, we're so used to it. You know, I miss hand-drawn animation. You know, I'm thinking of the stuff like Cowboy Bebop, you know, where that's just so beautiful, and you could tell it's hand-drawn, but the effort is so wonderful, and it looks so damn good. I miss those days, but there is something to be said for when CG is done well, and the CG in this movie is done amazingly. The visuals really struck me. And that's saying something, because in this day and age, we're pretty used to the visuals that Pixar and Disney can give us. You know? But I would say take a good baseline measure. Think of Frozen. And yeah, sure, the visuals in that movie, that was pretty and all. And this is, in my opinion, leagues above the visuals of Frozen. I think it just, everything about it just was amplified. I read online that, you know, there were different engines within this, the 3D, the CG, that powered stuff that you wouldn't even notice. Things that would create each and every citizen of the city that, you know, you hardly ever see. I can't remember even one of them that isn't a main character. Obviously, because you're never looking at them. You're paying attention to the main people. You're paying attention to Hero. You're paying attention to Baymax. But each citizen of the city is rendered individually and uniquely. There are no two alike. There's no lazy cloning or stuff here. They're all completely unique. And there's an entire engine devoted to that. Despite the fact that it's something that you'll potentially never notice unless you watch the film multiple times and start to pay attention to those little bit details. But for the most part, the average viewer isn't going to notice that. So they could have cut corners if they wanted to, but they didn't. And it was awesome, I thought, just that they would do that. Same for the trees, right? I can't hardly remember seeing trees in the fucking movie, you know, I mean, they're there, who cares, it's trees. There was an engine devoted to the trees and simulating them and making them unique. The detail put into this film, even a lighting engine specifically devoted to Baymax and his vinyl reflective coating. It boggles my mind that the amount of effort put into this, but you know what? It shows. It shows big time. The visuals in this movie are second to none, and I thought it was fantastic. So, the plot, as far as it goes, there are some slight spoilers. I'm not going to get into the whole thing. But, well, I may. Nah, whatever. The plot goes, spoilers if you haven't seen it. The idea is, we're in, what is it, San Francisco, I think it is. It's like some mix of this American-Japanese culture. And it's really needs like a futuristic, awesome city. And we have our main character, Hiro Hamada, who's 13 years old, 14 years old, and, you know, he's an absolute genius. He's an engineer and crazy stuff. And, you know, his brother, who is also an engineer, genius is, much older than him. He's, well, not much, but he's older than him and in college. One day, Hiro goes with him to his college and sees, just how crazy all these inventions are. After thinking, oh yeah, it's some nerd thing, he sees how amazing the people and inventions there are and wants to get in on this. And the way to do it, there's a science fair coming up in a few months, and he thinks of this technology that will grant him an entrance in. And it's basically using nanomachines, nanobots, and and having a neuron control from the brain to remotely control them using your brain, and all this crazy stuff, all these awesome visuals, and Hiro has this whole exposition at the conference and stuff, and of course it's amazing, everyone loves it, and he gets accepted into the university, but then there's a fire there that night, an explosion, and his brother is killed, and of course Hiro becomes extremely depressed, and one day he accidentally hurts himself while he's in his bedroom. He drops his nanobot on his toe. And Baymax, whom he saw earlier in the movie that his brother introduced him to, it was his brother's big-time project. Baymax was supposed to be the personal healthcare assistant robot, the big balloon thing. The idea was that he was to take care of people, to heal them. And he activates with the command, ow. And Baymax was left in his room. And Baymax wakes up and heals him in a very comedic scene. And basically they find out that this nanomachine that he accidentally dropped, this little thing, is trying to go somewhere. So Hiro and Baymax follow it to this abandoned warehouse. Or possibly where the science fair was. It's not really said because it's all turned decrepit and stuff. And they basically find out that these nanomachines are being produced en masse. And the main bad guy, this, black-robed, kabuki mask-wearing dude, is now in control of them and is up to something bad. We don't know what. We don't know who he is. But he's definitely got bad motives. And from there, Hiro goes about banding together the rest of his brother's friends from the college, and they work on trying to figure out who this guy is, take his power from him, get that mask off him, where he has to be controlling the machines, and they work up all this awesome superhero team, the Big Hero 6, as it were. And it's awesome because each of the other kids who his brothers was friends with, they're super intelligent. They're able to come up with all these awesome different suits and augments of powers and stuff and things they've created. It's all scientific. It's not like some supernatural thing, and it's really neat because they make this awesome team, and the characters are all interesting. And it's just awesome. As for the characters, I think the team could have been fleshed out a little more because they were interesting. They were a different kind of thing. You had your different archetypes within the team. The only one who really got fleshed out of anyone was Fred. Of course, he was quite interesting as a result, but there was potential to give a little more life to the other members. But undoubtedly, the stars of the show are Hiro and Baymax. But it's a good thing, then, that the interplay between the two of them is realistic and believable, especially Hiro's emotions regarding his brother, his loss, and basically the villain, once they discover who he is, in a rather intense scene when Baymax wants him to kill the bad guy, despite the fact that it's against Baymax's programming. It really captures well this anguish that he's feeling, I think it's understandable for anyone who's ever felt loss and felt that someone was responsible for it. It's a palpable rage that makes some scenes very emotional where a hero is dealing with this depression and sadness. It's relatable. And the action scenes, the visuals, especially with the villain, when he's using the nanobots and nanomachines, are brilliantly realized. The amount of time and effort it must have taken to animate these machines to behave as they do and be so imposing and look like an extension of the character itself was just wonderful. It was hypnotizing to watch him because it was just so well done. It just made this guy feel so omnipresent because of his abilities to control these billions of machines. The action scenes in the movie were beautifully realized, wonderfully intense, and just it kept me on the edge of my seat. And that's saying something, because I'm nearly 19 years old, and this movie, of course, because it's Disney, it's aimed at all audiences, but typically you'd think this is more of a kid's movie, because that's what Disney is, kids, but no, I thought this was exciting, it was thrilling. There was good humor in it, you know, it was good humor, there was a little adult humor in there, as I like what Disney does. The voice acting was all very well done, the story was interesting and captivating, had its good twists that weren't quite predictable as I thought. It was wonderfully emotional at times. It's hard for me to get emotionally invested in a movie these days because I've seen the plot play out so many times. Movies are hardly original. But this one got me interested and it made me care. I actually felt real emotions watching. That's saying something. Just the action was so intense and so well done, and how the soundtrack combined with the visuals, with the characters, the voice acting, it all just came together wonderfully. And it's funny because this was based off a comic book, but, you know, I feel that not many people knew it, much like Guardians of the Galaxy, which I didn't see, so I don't know. Not many people knew the comic book, but when people saw the movie, they were blown away by it, me included. I've never read the book, I'm not a comic guy, but but I very much enjoyed it. I was sad when it ended, not because it was a sad ending or anything, because I was like, no, it can't be over, there needs to be more. And because I greatly enjoyed it. I thought it was a blast. It was fun. It was a great, exciting, thrilling ride. It was funny. And, you know, the visuals were just so well done and so striking and so beautiful, especially near the end there's a scene inside of like how do you say, like a different dimension on the other side of a portal teleporter. And that was so, it reminded me a lot of the very ending of Interstellar, but in a completely different way. It almost felt like you were inside an abstract world of color painting, as if it was like a, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, one of those paintings, a splatter painting almost, or a color collage where all the colors are blending together. And this scene there was just so wonderfully realized with all the particles in there and the colors. And knowing what I do about what it takes to create things like that, I was just blown away by how fluid and beautiful and detailed the visuals are, down to the things that are so blurred out in the background you couldn't even see them because they were so far back. But the fact that it was so well done, there was so much time and effort put into the movie, and that there's actual very emotional parts in it that are relatable, is what I enjoyed the most. The humor was fun, the movie was fun, the action scenes were fantastic, and I loved the movie. I'd have to say it's probably the best movie I've seen of 2014. You know, not like movies I've seen from years past that I've seen this year, but the best movie made in 2014 for me. I loved Interstellar, but I liked this one a lot too. You know, I'd gladly go see it again. This was a movie that, if viewable in IMAX, it definitely should be seen that way, because the visuals are just so beautiful. Just the action is just, it's wonderful. It's something you need to see. Nothing on your computer or your phone could do it justice. Something you need to see on the big screen. And the sound design is something I got to mention as well, because it was done very well in surround. It's not something you really notice, because usually you just get your two speakers right up front or whatever it is. This one, there was an accurate surround sound, so when characters were in different parts as they would be in the movie, you could hear them in the back left channel or something. You know, it's not really something I noticed too much, but this one did it. And it made the movie so very immersive. I was locked in the whole time. It didn't drag at all. It wasn't boring. It was exciting the whole way. Excellent pacing. And it was just such a satisfying movie with a great ending. And, you know, it felt like a successful evolution from The Incredibles. Is it better than The Incredibles? Well, that's something to, you know, sort of figure out for yourself. But one can't help but draw these comparisons. I don't know. I think both movies are great in their own right. But is Big Hero 6 good? Absolutely. I loved it. So if you haven't seen it already, or are on the fence, or have seen it, why not see it again? Or see it if you haven't. I loved it. I think it was awesome. You know, one of way better than Frozen, and I thought Frozen was pretty good. So Disney has really outdone themselves with this one. I think it needs more praise than it's getting. Not that it's not getting praise, but it needs even more. And I thought it was fantastic. So what did you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below, and we can talk about it or not talk about it if you want to be the antisocial type. But other than that, I've got to render this and export it and upload it, and that's going to take like 2 hours and tie up my internet. And that's going to suck. But I do it because I love you. Like I said in the Friday video, big news coming your way soon. Just gotta... There's a few things that need to be worked out still, but hopefully by the end of the week, if not sooner, I'll have some awesome news to share with you guys. Other than that, have a good day, guys. Keep it fucking metal. My name is Kenshin. I'm peacing the fuck out. I'll see you guys later.
As a quick addendum here, guys, I recommend that you all take the time to stay after for a moment after the credits. Just sit through them, get on your phone, tweet to everyone about how much you love the movie, but stick around because there's a short, brief scene that happens after the credits that I think you all will enjoy. I know I did. I thought it was awesome. So, just a little heads up.